Hello, members of Earth 828, and welcome to the not a Friday live stream, the spoiler live stream for the Fantastic Four. I got Herbs off here to the side. How you doing, Herbs? Good old bought that Herbs. I am your host here, Feed Richards, off to set you off and discuss everything involving the Fantastic Four first steps. We're going to get into full spoilers. We're going to talk about our favorite Easter eggs, our favorite moments, things we didn't like about it, thoughts and theories on how this also compares to Avengers Doomsday, which is on the horizon. Oh, we're going to be talking all that here today here for you guys. So, ooh, very nice. Late? No, I was... A good scientist is never late, okay? I had to fight off a Silver Surfer in a black hole. It made me 1 minute late. Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, everybody. Okay, let's all appreciate the fit one more time. I know Reed's doesn't have the white collar. This is actually the Ben Grimm outfit. But dude, it just pisses me off so much how Reed doesn't have the white collar. I love the white collar, dude. I feel fantastic in this thing. Just stretch. Oh, dude, so great. So good. So, yeah, you can call me the thing or whatever, but I'm just still going to pretend I'm Reed. I was even going to get like a mustache and just wear the mustache. So that way you can't confuse me. Like, are we safe? I don't know. Oh, what a good line. What a good line. All right, so as you guys know, I'll be going through some of the chat. You guys will dictate it because you've already heard my opinion on the movie. Here, let me put this off to the side. Oh, the great thing also about this being a Disney movie and not a Warner Brothers DC film is I can just have the trailer off to the side playing and it's not gonna get copyrighted. That's the one thing I really do like about Disney is they just let you play the trailers all nonstop on YouTube videos. So, all right, again, I really came out loving the movie. You guys have heard me already in my spoiler-free and my spoiler review. I think the movie was fantastic. Say it again. And I'm sure we're going to be saying that a lot. So let's just begin off with what people want to talk about and see where this conversation leads us. Okay, I Love Movies starts off the conversation with Hope F4 gets noms for music, VFX, and production design. Yeah, I can't remember the last Marvel movie that got nominated at the Oscars for something like that. In fact, let's just Google it here. Maybe it was Black Panther. Was it Black Panther? You know what? I'll warn them for the beginning, but I'm not going to be able to type in and do stuff with this, so slap your mama with these. How dare you, Galactus? I'm not giving up my baby. How much money, though? I'll think about it. Last Marvel movie nominated for Oscar. Okay, let's see here. All right, they're giving us here that Black Panther won for Best Costume Design. So that was 2000. Oh, so not that long ago. Wakanda Forever, Best Costume Design. 2018 was nominated. Was Best Picture, Costume Design, Original Score, Production Design. Okay. So I honestly think Fantastic Four has a really good. Well, we have to see the rest of the movies, but it'd be awesome if they got some noms, dude. Because yeah, I agree with you guys. The movie, ooh, they knocked it out of the park when it came to the costumes, the production design. Michael Giacchino's score is so awesome. In fact, Herbie, play the score. That I do have to be careful with. They will copyright that. Michael Giacchino does not play around. He's like, you will not listen to my score for free. They will get you for that one, so I can't play that one long. But that Herbie Buck is so cool. Yeah, I agree. They need to be whatchamacallit, nominated on Old Fronts. And I think it's a good shot. It's a good shot, but it's also with all the other contenders in competition this year. But with the way the Oscars is, they would get good buzz. It's like even Suicide Squad has won an Oscar over, I think it was like the costumes as well. Suicide Squad could do it. Then I mean, there's no reason Fantastic Four wouldn't also be included in that kind of stuff. All right, we got Sean Henderson sends in $1. Thank you so much. We have here Carl Nawara Galactus better come back, or it'll be like Ultron all over again. Bro has too much potential to just be one-off. Best villain since Thanos, in my honest opinion. And you would not be wrong, buddy, old boy. I don't think it's wrong. It's not ridiculous to say that. It's not ridiculous to say that. Galactus in the Fantastic Four was menacing. What was a real threat, actually felt the danger and impending doom that he posed onto the city and whatnot. So I do think they bring him back, and I honestly feel they will bring him back come Doomsday or Secret Wars. I honestly would not be surprised if it comes to a situation where the Avengers and Fantastic Four are like, Doom's planet is too powerful. How do we annihilate this entire planet that he's created that is just filled with his army and things? And Reed turns to whoever said that and goes, say that again? I know of a giant world-eating monster. And then they go find Galactus, and then they bring him to Doom's planet, and Galactus devours Battleworld. I just wrote it for you, Feige. You're still writing Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars? I just wrote you the ending. I feel like they could honestly do that. Like, for real. They need to get rid of Battleworld and Doom's planet and all that. Hey, let me just call up Galactus. I'm sure he's hungry. He hasn't eaten in forever. So, I don't know. It could be. It could be that. If not, I hope they don't wait too long, or they just don't do something so dumb and useless with it. Like, no offense, we'll still have to wait and see how Vision Quest turns out, but fans have been wanting Ultron back for so long, and he's finally coming back, but in a Disney Plus show, and we've already gotten reports that Disney's trying to save more money on these shows, so he's actually going to be in human form for most of the show. Is that really how we wanted Ultron back after all these years? And look what they did with Abomination. Look what they did with the Leader. If 5 years go by and they don't bring back Galactus, don't even bother. Don't even bother, because the way they would bring him back would not even be good. But I would so be down. Like, even if it's Fantastic 3, the third movie in the trilogy, I would love for Galactus to come back. John Sheila says, the Earth 828 they are on was apparently a reference to Jack Kirby's birthday. Yeah, I had a lot of you guys telling me, because, you know, when I was doing my spoiler video trying to look up, you know, Easter eggs or things I might have missed, I looked up, I was like, oh, so what is Earth 828? I mean, I'm not familiar with that. Is that the ultimate Earth? Is that something else? And turns out there's no significant number to that in the comics Earth. So I was like, oh, okay, it's not really an Easter egg. People then saying it's Jack Kirby's birthday because his birthday is August 28th. And I was like, oh, the movie actually was paying a lot of homage to Jack Kirby. It was trying to emulate some of his style. I think Jack Kirby's style gets a little bit more wacky and weird, and Fantastic Four was a little bit more sci-fi grounded, which wasn't bad. We had Reed punching orangutans, but Jack Kirby gets a little bit more out there. I do like that Marvel's doing this, paying a little bit more, because all love in the world to Stan Lee. Jack Kirby is a big part of all the stuff that we have today, and that makes it, well, specifically in the looks and how iconic it is. So that's nice that they did that. It's nice that they did that. Elliot says, I'm so sorry about the last message. It's just my sister was putting things in my head. I got autism, and my mind sort of just overthinks things. So sorry if it sounded rude. I have no idea what you're talking about, Elliot. I don't remember a rude message from you, buddy. Everything's cool. We chill here. Mahalo. Retro Lover 03 says, Franklin v. Jack Jack par. Baby fights. Oh, who's winning, Franklin or Jack Jack? Oh, buddy, that's a tough order. Franklin annihilates Jack Jack. Jack Jack will shapeshift into whatever he wants. Franklin, Jack Jack ain't standing a chance. I'm saying Franklin. Sean Hernandez says, who the hell are you, 3C Films? Who am I? I'm him. Galactus didn't come to this Earth. You know why? He knew I was still alive. So count your days when I pass away. Galactus will be here lickety split. Johnson Lee says, sorry for having that. Oh yeah, the question. No worries. A lot of sorry. Don't say sorry. Don't even say sorry. Just move past it, man. Let's talk Fantastic Four. Retro Lover 03. Earth 828 is a reference to Jack Kirby's birthday. If this gonna be the questions, I'm just gonna jump to the regular chat. What y'all on today? The next thing I have is Fantastic Goon. What is this? What is this? Feed Richards is in disappointment with, you know what? Super chat right now on timeout. Regular chat, go crazy. Start giving me topics because, oh, that super chat pissing me off right now. All right, let's see what y'all got. Regular chat better not be as bad. If y'all got a question right now, put it in that regular chat because right now, okay, I just saw this corner. Right. What if Spider-Man was in the movie? It would have, you know what? Jumping off that question, it would have, there was a part of my mind that I was like, dude, what if they show off like Wakanda? Like, what if Wakanda comes in and helps at the last second? Because it would make sense that the Fantastic Four would still be looked at as the only heroes. Because in their timeline, Wakanda is maybe still in hiding. Wakanda isn't shown to the world, so they're only thought to be the only person. If this Galactus being shows up and they need technical help with a lot of stuff, would have been cool for the Black Panther of that universe to emerge and be like, times are tough, you need help. Here I am, the Black Panther with some vibranium. Part of me was thinking about that because Black Panther did appear also in the first appeared in Fantastic Four comics. That was his first appearance. I was kind of hoping for that, but I would love to see what the Earth 828 versions of superheroes look like. That would be awesome. All right, what else we got going on here? Thank you. I like this one. Put question in the front. Question. Let's talk about the underwhelming mid-credit scene. I don't know, man. I know people said it's underwhelming, but I don't know. I guess I just don't know what we would have expected. We all knew it was going to be Doctor Doom related, right? We all knew it was going to be Doctor Doom related in the mid-credit scene, and I think there was enough there for us to speculate on. Because maybe will I get in trouble if I show like a mid-credit photo? I feel like if I Doctor Doom post-credit scene. Google's gotta have to have it. Google, show me this guy's balls. Come on. There we go. We got it. I think this gave us enough. It seemed tiny, it seemed quick, but it's pretty clear what's happening here. I thought it as soon as I saw it, and I even mentioned it in my spoiler review. I think this is the main basis. I think Doctor Doom is showing up, showing his horribly ugly, disfigured face to Franklin, and he's hoping Franklin's just gonna want to fix that because he's like, dude, you're in my living room. This is my story time. I can't look at this while I'm chewing on some Vanessa Kirby milk. He's 4 years old. He would not still be on that milk. Okay, maybe he's like, this is still my hot cocoa time, Doom. Jeez, get this out of my face. There, I made you look like my favorite actor, Robert Downey Jr. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think we're not even gonna see disfigured Doctor Doom. Like literally, the opening of Doomsday is him getting his face fixed. We're gonna see some sort of cosmic glow. He's gonna appear all chatted up the same way freaking Reed Richards. Where is it? Reed Richards Chad face. The same way Reed Richards did a Chad face in the early 2000s. This is how Doctor Doom's gonna look after Franklin's done with him. Doctor Doom's gonna turn around and go, Susan. And then there's gonna be some background TikTok workout music. That's how I hope Doctor Doom ends up looking after Franklin touched them. But I get it. We wanted something a little bit more, especially since we were so spoiled with the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. Because the Thunderbolts one was literally an entire scene. That thing went on for like, what, 3-4 minutes or something? And we had a lot of group dynamics. Look at the Avengers Tower. Gave us so much context into what the world looks like really setting us up for Doomsday. And the Fantastic Four one was like, what, a minute long? And it's just like little Doom there with Franklin touching him. I don't know. I guess I get it. Maybe it was underwhelmed, but I feel like there's enough little nuggets in there for us to speculate. Maybe you guys have more. Let me go in some more things. Penguin Playzone says, what are your thoughts on it not connecting the Thunderbolts post-credit scene? That's honestly what surprised me. I guess since we are on the topic of the post-credit scene, that's what surprised me a lot. Is because we felt like it was an obvious giveaway. In fact, some people were mad that like, oh, they just gave away the ending of the Fantastic Four. Their Earth gets destroyed and they're coming here. So, I don't know. I feel like this is the best. I feel like them not doing that intrigues me. And it makes me go like, well, now I want to see Doomsday because I want to know how we get to the Thunderbolt scene to where we are. Because it feels like there's at least, I don't know, 20, 15 minutes of setup that connects us one to the other. People are theorizing that like Doom after this scene kidnaps Franklin and takes him to the main MCU timeline. And so the Fantastic Four are just chasing Doctor Doom to this universe. Maybe. Part of me was even thinking the movie was going to end with Johnny actually sacrificing himself in that wormhole. And so the Fantastic Four going around was actually them looking for Johnny with that, but that didn't end up happening because it was Silver Surfer. So yeah, it was kind of like, dang it. So it doesn't really connect. It's still kind of a large gap in what's going on there. I'm gonna go with what people are saying. That's probably Doctor Doom that kidnaps Franklin, and the Fantastic Four just racing him down, trying to find out where he is before things. But I also want to know why he chooses Earth 616, because like, why does he even need to go to that Earth to complete his plan? What even is his plan? Because everything seems peaceful and fine in their universe, right? They said 4 years have gone by and the Fantastic Four have held it down. Everything looks good. Is he just aware there is a multiverse threat on the horizon? Because it feels like, well, because Loki handled the whole Kang situation, right? Because Loki season 2, the ending, you could say that's how they got rid of Kang. Loki steps into the chair, forever holding on to the timeline, and Kang is gone. So it's like the Kang problem is solved. What is the thing that starts the multiverse event? What is the thing that gets it going? I'm curious about that. Let's see here. Why did Galactus say he was small like a human? He was a celestial, and in Eternals, celestials are born inside cores of planets. Yeah, I do remember him saying that. I think we are going with the comic origin is probably what you're pulling from, where like he's a celestial. That could be the case, or it could just be that he's like Franklin, that he was just a cosmic person able to handle whatever this cursed throne is, and over time as he was feeding, he grew and grew. So I also wouldn't be surprised if whenever they bring back Galactus, he's actually shrunk. I could honestly see them, because maybe he doesn't just starve to death. Maybe his version of getting skinny and starving to death is losing his size, right? So if they bring him back 2-3 movies down the line, he's no longer giganto. He's just kind of like, I don't know, 10 feet tall. And he's like, hey man, I gotta start munching again. I gotta start putting on mass. But yeah, I get that. I get that. Let me go into a couple more. Then we'll see if the super chats are ready to be at a timeout. All right, let's see. What if Doom kidnaps Franklin and destroys Earth 828, and the four split up into 2 ships going into 2 universes, going to the MCU and the Fox universe? Now, see, I understand why our minds would go to there, but I need there to be a clear reason from Doom why he chooses Earth 616 and that X-Men universe. Like, it can't just be, oh, it just happens to be, because that's where the storyline needs to go. And from all the interviews that we have gotten, it seems like Doom is going to be almost like Thanos was, in an understandable villain. Not where he's sympathetic and we feel bad, but where we can kind of understand where his train of thought is. Just like with Thanos, he's Mad Titan was like, my people basically died because they wouldn't listen to, you know, rationing food and killing off half the planet. And it's like, you don't agree with Thanos, but you're like, okay, I see why he thinks that. I see why he thinks wiping out half the universe would be better for everybody. Doctor Doom is going to have a similar thing. And I've already said the movie sets it up perfectly. Doctor Doom is going to hate the Fantastic Four because they did not give up their baby. Sorry, that's Chad. They did not give up Franklin for the betterment of their planet. I think Doom is going to see himself as the true savior for Earth 828, and for that reason, he's not going to blow up that planet. That's his home. That's where Latveria is. He does not want that planet destroyed. If anything, he probably is like, I want every other cosmic threat gone, and us to be the only planet, so that we don't ever have to deal with problems like this again. The Fantastic Four can't handle it. They're not fit for it. I, Doctor Doom, will be the real savior of the world. I don't know. That's where my mind goes. He could be right. He could be right. It says here, the director confirmed his backstory is basically the human one. Okay, cool. So it's not the celestial born there. I'd like to see that birth video. Let's see here. Because Tony was never supposed to exist and only ever existed in 616 and in 838, those were Doom bots. Yeah. I'm trying to connect the dots here. I did see, I don't know if it was a scooper or if it was just a fan theorizing. I did see like the streets, you know, the movie news streets that I'm chronically online for. They were people saying that it'll be revealed that there was a Fantastic Four and there was an X-Men in our main MCU timeline, but they actually were gotten rid of by Doom because they are the biggest threat to his plans and whatnot. So I was like, okay, that could be something. That could be interesting if that's what they reveals. Like they were always supposed to be there, but they were removed. Could the Monica Rambeau X-Men universe be the same one as X-Men 97? I don't think it'll be the same one as X-Men 97, but it'll definitely be a universe that mirrors that or is similar to that. And basically that similarity is going to come down to the costumes. I don't think it will be the actual 97 universe, but it will be a universe that's like, oh, it kind of resembles the 97 universe. And it also kind of resembles the early Fox universe, you know, but it's an amalgamation. Oh, you know, what if Doom is looking for anchor beans? Oh, see, but I feel that goes against my theory because I still think anchor being in the MCU is Robert Downey Jr. I think, remember, that's what they introduced to us, this anchor being concept. And even, what's his name? Kevin Feige, when he was asked about it, he was like, oh, interesting that you bring that up. Yes, we will explore anchor beings more. And in Deadpool and Wolverine, they explain that once an anchor being dies, that planet will also slowly begin to fade away. Tony Stark is dead. He died in Endgame, and I think we are starting to see the crumbling of our world because of it. So him coming for an anchor being, I don't think would make sense because that Tony's already dead. But that's if they make someone else an anchor being. I don't like the ideas of anyone else but Tony. Because especially when you look at everything in the MCU, everything kind of revolves around Tony. It would only make sense that he's the anchor being for the main MCU. I don't know who the anchor being would be. Maybe Franklin for Earth 828. I could definitely see Franklin being, yeah, see here. Is Franklin the anchor being of Earth 828? That would honestly make the most sense with the amount of power and everything he has. Yeah. I don't think it'd be Spider-Man. Some people said Spider-Man. It's a Sony property. And I don't think Marvel would want to make such a vital, important part of this story to someone that can be ripped away from the universe at any point. Chris, did you notice the thing when he stops using the rust grinder to store up energy, his rocky beard begins to grow through the film? I mean, yeah, that's how he shaves. That's like me saying, that's like you saying, you notice when Dad got rid of his Gillette razor, he has a beard now? Wonder if those things are connected. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Goon chat. All right. Sammy H says, who else had a special intro in IMAX? Oh yeah, I did. I like that. The retro old-timey of, hello, sit down, kids. Get around. We're gonna watch the Fantastic Four. Grab your popcorn. Sit down. Don't talk during the movie. I like that. All right. Dylan says, do you think the F4 will get cast after Secret Wars? See, that is a great question. Because, and that's the biggest wonder I have about the Fantastic Four moving forward. I love this 60s retro futuristic aesthetic. We're headed to a unified Earth where they're going to be in the main MCU Earth. And I don't know if they're going to keep this aesthetic going. I've mentioned a couple possibilities. One, they'll put them all in the same Earth, but they all won't be alive at the same time. So like they'll be part of Earth 616, but they'll still be in the 60s, meaning a lot of the heroes that'll come down the line aren't born or aren't active yet. Like Tony Stark would only be like 2 years old as a little baby or things like that. You know, they would still be separated out. So you could kind of still do the retro thing, but I don't know if you have the future aesthetic attached. Okay. Or two, they do have them there in modern day. It's actually the year 2030 or whatever the timeline is. You could then do the futuristic stuff, but it would be all modern. And it's just, well, I'm so done with modern holograms and buttons and heightened tech. But maybe that's like the vibe, is like every movie they just like are in a different era. Is something like that? I'm so confused about how any of that is going to work. I doubt they recast. They nailed this cast so well. If they recast after this, it'll be a big fumble. They got these characterizations, these dynamics down, and that is a tough thing to do. Because you look at the Fan 4 stick, which I have the reviews up on the channel on the old Fantastic Four movies. You look at the Fan 4 stick, Great actors, all individually. Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller, Kate Mara, I think it was her name. All great actors individually. Together and their dynamic as a group, Galactus fart cloud. They had no chemistry with one another. So you could even have great actors in the role and they could all just suck talking to one another. When you nail it down, I don't think you recast. So no way. If the Hat Man does that, well, he's got some fighting words to say to Hat Man. Lucy says, yo, Chris, just wanted to thank you for your videos, man. I started making video essays because of you, so thank you so much for the inspiration. No problem, buddy. No problem. Sebastian, off topic. Oh, my God. Chat, ooh, I'm about to just close the super chat here. What is all this going on, man? Rio says, just wanted to say that I really enjoyed your videos. Lots of ridiculous humor, and that you make me laugh. New subscriber. Thank you, Rio. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my God. Dr. Goon. Human Goon. Goon Galactus. I'm about to I'll ban people from super chat now. Ryan says, hey Chris, glad you're live. This time loved F4. I'm glad a lot of people love it. Now, there are some people that have some complaints on it, but I feel like even the complaints you have, the main complaints I've seen, I'm like, yeah, I agree that's an issue, or yeah, that's a problem. But I'm like, that does not take away from how awesome the rest of the movie is. Spoilers for mid-credit scene. Oh yeah, we're all talking spoilers here, Benji. I can't believe Doom was caught trying to meet up with him. Hey, that kid can fix my face and give me a Chad look. I'll also be like, Franklin, do something about this, man. Do something about this. My chin be hanging off too much, Franklin. Amara says, I kind of hope the F4 stay in Earth 828. I'd love that word. I do wonder about that, because what if when the reset happens, we still have the multiverse and so many other timelines? Could there be a possibility they actually just stay separate from the MCU and don't end up on the same Earth? I feel like the chances of that are like a 10%. And I wouldn't be that mad. I'd be like a little sad we'd never get a Tony interaction or like Human Torch to meet Spider-Man or things like that. But hey, if they can stay in that retro-futuristic world, I won't be that upset about it. Not enough cousin Fantastic Four first steps. I don't even know what that means. Is that a bear reference? The bear? Brian Broadway on tour says, I got a big one for you. Feed first is my opinion, and then is my theory. What is your favorite part of the movie minus the Silver Surfer and Johnny scene? In Times Square, I ask my second question later. I think my favorite scene outside of the space scene and the Johnny scene was Reed talking to the baby when he's like, I'm not going to try and figure you out anymore. I'm just going to let you do that. I thought it was such a heartwarming, beautiful scene, and the way Reed would have to come to terms with his like own intellect of like, I have to put that aside. I can't treat my baby like a guinea pig and just enjoy fatherhood and be there for him. Other scenes I really like, the Mole Man scene, dude. The Mole Man stuff, hilarious. I love the Mole Man scene, and I enjoyed the Galactus fight. I would have liked it to be longer. Sure, I would have liked more to go down. I thought the entire Galactus fight was handled really well, and it's kind of interesting that I've seen so many people say that that's such an anticlimactic or boring part of the movie, and I'm like, what? I liked it. Like that they referenced the 60s Hanna-Barbera show. Yeah, with the cartoon and whatnot. I thought that was cool too. I thought that they did that too. Elliot, the Johnny was so much fire in this. I hope it ain't a stretch, and I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. The Thing, Joseph Quinn, Chris Evans. I agree. I think the Thing and Joseph Quinn, Human Torch here had the best dynamic between one another. I said this in my spoiler review. While I still have like a soft spot for the old dynamic with Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis, that always came off like one of them just severely bullying the other one and then just laughing it off. This one felt like an even back and forth. You know, there's that moment where like Johnny tells him, he's like, a beard could look nice. I think a beard could work. Like, that's just a small, sweet moment. And then they go back to goofing with each other when, like, the Human Torch has the little toys, like, flame on, flame on, flame on. It destroys it in front of them, and they're good. I like that. It was such a nice brotherly bond. And even when, like, the Thing picks him up in space and says, I got you, buddy. I believe that they are buddies and that they care for one another. Great dynamic between them two. Mario says, "Do you think Baby Franklin using his powers attracted RDJ's doom, or do you think Galactus was sent to RDJ's universe and he wants revenge?" No. They already explained in the movie that it was the Silver Surfer who chooses the planets. I thought they were gonna make a bigger deal out of why each planet was chosen. Because if you remember early on, Reed is looking at all the planets and he's saying these were specifically chosen and all that. He made it sound like there was an important reason each planet was being killed off. And later we just find out that Silver Surfer was an astronomer. So she knows planets, she knows stars, and she just gave her services to Galactus. He's like, hey, I'll be your scouter. I'll pick the planets for you. So we didn't actually get like a good reason why Earth 828 was chosen. It just seemed like, hey, it's a nearby planet. If it's his hunger, so let's just do it. So I don't think Galactus was like sent there by anyone else but the Silver Surfer. I do think though Doom, because I think the Fantastic Four are so honest with their world, they're so transparent with everything, they're just gonna let the world know. It's like, hey, well, why does he want the baby? Because our baby is supposedly this cosmic being. It brought back to life my wife and all this kind of stuff. Doom is gonna sit there at the TV going, huh? Doombots, let's kidnap that baby. I think it's gonna be again Reed's fault in telling too much truth, being too transparent with the world, and Doom's gonna want that magical baby, man. Who doesn't want a magical baby to fix all their problems? Skinny Jesus says the limit is 5 characters. Who would you choose to kill off in Secret Wars like a businessman? Ooh, okay. If I'm thinking like a businessman, I see what you mean. Like I'm the Hat Man. And I'm thinking about, let me pull up the confirmed Avengers Doomsday cast. Avengers Doomsday cast. I'm telling you right now, Gambit is dying. Gambit is dying. But I love Gambit. He was funny, Chris. What you talking about? He dying. Gambit is dying. He's a funny character and he's all that, but he ain't that important to us. He dying. All right. In fact, most of the early 2000 X-Men characters dead. I love you, Patrick Stewart, but you've died in almost every movie ever since X-Men The Last Stand. You dying here again. I think the Thunderbolts dying because their movie flopped, and so Kevin Feige doesn't see much of a future in sequels and trilogies with them. Thunderbolts are dying. Maybe just Yelena survives, but Red Guardian for sure is going to be dying. He's going to have that heroic dad death. Whom else am I going with? I was going to say Thor, but I do believe all the comments about him probably having a Thor 5 and probably getting one more movie. And Kevin Feige said like he still thinks Thor could continue living on past the reboot reset. So, yeah. That's what I'm going with. People saying Thor dying? I don't know. I'm telling you, most of the Fox X-Men are going to be dying. Magneto, Magneto's probably one too, business-wise speaking, just because of age, no offense. And they just brought them back enough, and Kevin Feige already said in the reboot reset article where he's like, when we introduce the X-Men, they're going to be young, and we're going to start them up. So I think they'll even go with a younger Magneto. Not like a teenager or nothing, but like probably a dude in his 40s. So that's what I'm going with. That's what I am going with. I don't see anyone else. I could maybe see Paul Rudd because all his co-stars have retired. What was it? Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly. They have retired and don't want to do acting anymore. If we ever get Ant-Man 4, which I don't see a reason to with the way Ant-Man 3 ended up, Paul Rudd's dead. Paul Rudd might be dead. Loki could probably also. I don't think Namor's dying. I think they still want to do some stuff with Namor. But we'll see. We'll see. Thanks for being so awesome. Love from Costa Rica. Thank you so much. Thank you much. The Incredibles is the blueprint. Yeah, but then again, Fantastic Four was the blueprint for Incredibles. So, who the real blueprint? Do you think the version of Reed? Do you think this version of Reed could have beat Thanos? I think they could have found a way. I think they could have. With how much they have taken care of the planet and how locked down they have. They not even just solved the crimes. They solved world peace, all but one country, Latveria, which we all just know why he doesn't want to be part of it. But they literally, like, you remember the courtroom scenes in Wakanda Forever? Our king is dead, and you try to attack us. Courtroom scenes in Fantastic Four? All right, so before we begin our meeting, I passed around some cookies. Herbie will give them each one to you. They locked it down. They they'd give a handshake to Thanos and be like, hey, do what you got to do, man, but we're going to stop you. They would have got it down. They would have got it down. Did you see at one point, the 4 were going to wear the blue and black suits? I did not see this. Apparently it was worn. Let me see if I can find, I shouldn't be looking at screen grabs of a movie, but Fantastic Four. What was it? What's that name? Giganto scene. Because that's supposedly where they're wearing it. Not the Little Caesars ad. It was in the movie, which I've already said. I think the Little Caesars ad actually looks better. I don't know if y'all agree with me on that. I honestly like the way the Little Caesars ad Giganto fight looks as opposed to the way it actually looks in the movie. It was just too CG heavy, and the dark clouds and all that. I was like, it could have been better anytime. Let's see, the past week. Any Giganto fights? No, I can't find them. But okay, there was the Fantastic Four. Let's see, black suits. If that's, was that what I look up? Here we go. So in that scene when they are fighting, they are wearing the classic comic book costumes, which we know Marvel always loves to do this. They have at least one scene or moment where they wear the classic costume. You think back to the first Captain America movie where he's like punching Hitler on stage. He's wearing basically the comic accurate costume. Thor has even gotten to do it, all that. So I would not mind if this ends up being the costumes for like the sequel, and that could be the new thing to like separate us with the era. Because I think when Fantastic Four 2 comes out, they're in the MCU, they're part of the connected universe, they're no longer the only heroes there, and they have the black suits. I really like these suits. I like them, but we know Marvel likes to change things up. If they want to do a blue and black version of these, I wouldn't mind. I would not mind. I think it'll work. But yeah. I did see that, and I thought that was kind of awesome. All right, KSH Comics says, do you think Franklin would have done anything with the events of Secret Wars and Marvel getting rebooted since he can create universes? Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's my main takeaway with this, is after Franklin fixes his face and gives him a Chad-looking jawline, he's like, now let's chat up the universe. He's using Franklin to create Battleworld. And he's going to have this entire universe where he's the ruler, medieval theme, separating people all everywhere. My only question is, how does he manipulate Franklin to do that? How does he convince the kid to do that? Or does he just take away his powers? How does that work? What goes on? There's so many questions I have. And the fact that they're still currently writing Doomsday does not give me faith that they'll answer those questions in a satisfying manner. But we'll see, man. I'm very excited for Doomsday. I feel like it's been kind of a sloppy rush job setting that movie up, because there's only been, I think, 3 movies that genuinely set up Doomsday, and they're like the least viewed movies outside of Fantastic Four, because it's the Marvels with Monica Rambeau ending up in the X-Men universe. That was like Marvel's biggest flop ever. Then we have Thunderbolts, which really good movie. Not a lot of people showed up. Black Adam made more money than Thunderbolts, and that gave us basically a full scene into Avengers Doomsday, but also didn't tie in much. And then here, this one with kind of a just set up into Doom coming in. So it's just like, man, what's going on? All right, let's see here. Angel Bautista says, could Franklin take over Loki's position? That's also the next thing I am wondering. What happens to Franklin post Secret Wars? If we're looking at Frankie Richards, Franklin, once Secret Wars happens, I don't think they kill off Franklin or that they don't give the kid back, but it's just like, he's such an overpowered character. He's such an easy answer to fix anything and everything. I feel like him fixing everything has to cost him his powers. And he has to, when they come back, Franklin is still there and he's still their child, but he's powerless. He no longer has abilities. He's just there. He can still be as smart as Reed, and maybe he's kind of like a part of the tech and still wants to somehow be involved, but he no longer has his powers. I don't think they should keep Franklin with his abilities. I don't know how to describe him. I think it'd be horrible if they give him the Loki treatment where he has to just sit in a chair and be like, I was a baby. Now I'm in a man in a chair. give Herbie that position. Put Herbie in there. Joseph Salazar says, imagine the post-credit scene in Spider-Man is Doom confronting Spider-Man and says, Mr. Stark, ends in a cliffhanger. I'm still saying I don't think there will be a post-credit scene in Spider-Man that ties us to Doomsday. It's never happened in any of the Spider-Man movies. None of the Spider-Man movies have had a post-credit scene that tie us into the next Avenger film or anything like that. And you also think of it business-wise, it is then Sony doing free marketing for another studio, Marvel. Yes, they have the deal. Yes, they share Spider-Man, but Sony does not get any money for Spider-Man being in an Avenger movie. They only get the money when it's their solo film, which is Brand New Day. I don't think there will be I'd love to be wrong, and it would be smart, and maybe Kevin Feige can sweet talk his way into telling Sony, hey, come on, you do this, next big Marvel movie, we'll tease one of your Sony films. I'd like for that to happen, but I think all we'd get in that is just maybe they could do something clever where it's like teasing the black suit, because I think in Secret Wars he's gonna get the black suit in there. So maybe it's something that'll set up his movie, but can loosely be connected to Secret Wars and Doomsday. But I doubt it's gonna be that. Dylan says, I saw the movie is paying $10,000 to whoever came up with a reason why Kang is done. Well, I feel like they already set up a good reason with Loki getting in the chair. Loki replaces Kang, eliminates him from the timelines, and everybody's able to go on about their day. Kang did speak about, like, if they want to, like, still make what Kang said work, because he said, if I'm not around, something worse will come out. So you kind of want me around, because at least I'm civil. Because at least I'll have these universes flowing. So maybe Doom is the consequence of no Kang. You know, Kang is the only one that could put Doom in his place or have him at bay where he's not a big multiverse threat. You eliminate Kang from timelines, Doom is free to do what he pleases. That's how I kind of see it. How do you feel about the amount of deleted scenes from this movie? The Reed and Sue interviews make sense to cut, but not Ben on the Matchmaker show. Honestly, does it though? Does that not make sense? How is the Thing being on a Matchmaker show vital to the story? Like, no, genuine question. Like, see here, like, they're revealing all these deleted scenes, like this one of them in Sunday dinner, which I'm thinking was going to be a long extended look at the scene early on in the movie where they're like, oh, it's the 4-year anniversary of the Fantastic Four. Let's take a look back. And they kind of just do this like news special where they just give us the rundown. I think the length that rundown was perfect into setting their origin, some of the villains they fought, how good they keep the world safe, and we move on. The other part of it, let me see if it's actually posted here, because I know the Matchmaker part was here. Dude, can you believe freaking this photo cracks me the heck? Dude, Rizzler's a fan of 3C also. He follows me on TikTok. So Rizzler, hit me up, man. We'll do anything you want, but that photo cracks me up. Matchmaker Thing. But, you know, getting back to your point about the Thing, like, how would that like help that? Man, I can't seem to find it. Matchmaker, let's see. The Thing deleted. Because I know they released a little, yeah, this is the scene. So it's 23 seconds long, and it's the Thing on a Matchmaker show. It would have done nothing to progress the story or help things out. It's just extra fluff. And it's so funny, all the people complaining and getting mad about so many scenes deleted. Where is this? Where is that? If we were in an alternate timeline where all these deleted scenes that people are begging for were in the movie, what would then be a new complaint for Fantastic Four coming out of that film? It was a little too long. There's a lot of stuff in there they didn't need to add in there. That movie was a little too long. They could have trimmed like 10, 15 minutes from that. Yes or no? You know that would. I know it has some editing problems, feels slightly rushed, but to me, the Fantastic Four was an efficient movie. It did what it needed to, and it hit the ground running, and it didn't stop till the end. That's how I see it. I feel like all the people talking about, like, we need these scenes. Come on, Feige, this and that. I'm like, if these scenes would have happened, y'all guys would be complaining that, like, oh, it's 15, 20 minutes too long. They didn't need to do all this. And you know I'm right. All right. Let's move on here. Niller Naller says, I saw a theory that Doom needs Loki, Sentry, Wanda, and Franklin to make Battle World. And he needs Franklin first to bring back Wanda. I like that idea. In theory, it sounds good. But I want, again, think when you're thinking of these theories, put yourself in the character shoes and not the audience viewer shoes. We, as audience members, know why Sentry, Wanda, and Loki would be very big helps. But how does Doom figure out that information? How does Doom, in his own planet, in his own world, all of a sudden know, okay, I need Wanda from this Earth, I need Sentry from that Earth, I need to go get Loki from this dimension called the TVA, which isn't even their own Earth. It's a separate dimension. I'm down for it, but I need an explanation to how Doom figures out all these vital characters and how they come to be important. That's what I like. I really hope they explain that well, because if it's just relying on our audience knowledge of like, oh, of course he's going after Wanda. Yeah, but how does he know to go after Wanda? How does he know that is who he needs? You know, it's a multiverse. There's bajillion Wandas. Why does he need our specific Wanda who died? Why couldn't it be the Wanda who was in Multiverse of Madness? Why couldn't it be a Wanda from a similar Earth, you know? Feige, you better cook, man. Do you think Franklin would have anything to do with the events of Secret Wars and Marvel getting rebooted, since he can create Oh, didn't I already answer this? Yeah. I think Franklin's definitely going to be used. And like I said, I think he's going to use... Because think about that. If Franklin can create, maybe he can destroy. So he ends up destroying all the multiverse because it's just been obliterated and ruined by Doom, and unifies the best parts of everything into one Earth. And in doing that, it's such a tall, grand order, all his power's gone. I don't know. That's my thinking. Should Shala Ball return? I feel like yes. I feel like yes, but if she does return, I want it to be with meeting Norrin Rad. If a multiverse version of Norrin Rad would be good. That's still one of my other complaints about the Fantastic Four. I like that they showed us Shala Ball's backstory, and they did the thing where they connected the motherly angle to her with like, I wanted to save my kid, you want to save your kid. But the big part of Shala Ball and Norrin Rad's story is that they love each other and that they were going to save each other. I would like Shala Ball back, and if she's back, I want Norrin Rad also. And I'd like that, but we'll see. We'll see. Corbin German says, love your channel, man. Thank you so much for always being here. Well, thank you so much for being here too, Mr. Goontastic. Camilo says, you think Doom will return after the reset, but not RDJ? Another great question, my friend. Another great question here, because that is the other thing. I think Feige has got to see all the complaints with Robert Downey Jr. Doom. I'm willing to hear them out. Of course, after so many iterations of Doom and him being done so horribly, of course I would like a more traditional Doom that is the ruler of Latveria, is such a smart intellectual being and rival to Reed that he ends up not just perfecting science, but also master of the mystic arts and using magic to fight as well. I would love that. I don't know how they do that with Robert Downey Jr.'s version. It obviously feels like it's... I'm waiting for that story. I'm open-minded to it, but once it's over, I don't know if you just bring back Robert Downey Jr. to be a secondary villain again. And once you've already made him such a huge villain, is making him a minor villain in sequels even worth it? You know, like, I'm curious. I don't know. I think after Doomsday and Secret Wars, might be the end of Doom. Might be the end. We'll see, though. What if after Secret Wars they all go to Earth 828? I would love it. I would love it if Earth 828. That way, everything can just go more comic booky and crazy, and it would help separate us from a lot more logical things, because it's no longer our world. Because Kevin Feige has said this before. While the DC, and James Gunn is doing this, and I love that he's doing this, DC is creating an alternate reality from ours, where heroes always existed. They were always there. They might have similar... There might be an Abraham Lincoln in the DCU, a George Washington, but all under the context that superheroes were always there, and they have fictional cities like Gotham, Metropolis, Central City, all that stuff. Where Marvel, it's those fictional characters in our real world. They are in New York. They are in Malibu. They are in, I don't know, Texas. I wouldn't mind it if they do that, but with the alternate twist, where it's a New York that is retro futuristic, where it is maybe something a little bit more zany. I think it'd be awesome, and I wonder if Kevin Feige's now thinking about that with the reception of how much people love Earth 828. Ryan says, Chris, in your in I think you can say opinion, how do you think they're gonna explain Doom? Has there been nothing talked about him since the Kang story is scrapped? Well, I think it's pretty simple. It's just the way. Well, he was on another Earth, so why would you talk about a being that's from another planet or another multiverse? You know, there was nothing to talk about there. We clearly know why it happened and how it went down. And as much as Kevin Feige is saying in interviews, it's like, no, we were gonna pivot to Doom even before the King stuff happened. I was like, yeah, sure you were, buddy. Yeah, sure you were. Okay, okay. So that's really the explanation. But they have a lot left to do because the only tease and setup we have of Doom is little Franklin touching his face and him taking a knee in their living room. Lot of work to be done. Lot of work to be done. Your Dune 34 says, love your videos, 3C. Would you ever post on Spotify? What would I post? Like music? I don't rap, buddy. Hey, I'm 3C. Come with me. And let's get I'll try something. Adrian Vega sends in some love. Thank you. Do you think that Franklin would have anything to do with the events? Dude, third time with this question, buddy. Hassan says, do you think the Fantastic Four were too calm considering their world could have been destroyed? I wish Reed had shown more. Oh, no, I don't think they were calm at all. No, I felt the despair. I felt the pressure. I felt how gloomy everything goes. I'm glad with the tone they were out with. And I think Reed is also definitely the type of person, even in his most stressful, angry, depressed state, he can hold it together because he knows his mind cannot fully function in an emotional place. So even then, I feel like, and you do see the panic whenever Silver Surfer destroys all the little machines that was going to transport the planet, immediately to the chalkboard, and he's got nothing. You see him like tap the chalkboard and go, you see the panic. He's like, back to the chalkboard. I got 5 seconds to figure out something. So I don't know. To me, I feel like they handled all that really well. Diego Gonzalez says, I'm pretty sure your RDJ is the Doom of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, I think someone did clarify that, or a scooper did say that the Doom of the Fantastic Four universe, Earth 828, will be the Robert Downey Jr. worldwide Doom. So we'll see how it goes. Adrian Vargas says, did you notice Johnny never said flame on? Yeah, I did notice that. They did have the little toy that was like, flame on, flame on. So it seems like their catchphrases all come from the cartoon. I'm surprised the Thing never like jokes with Johnny about it, because the Johnny jokes about it with the Thing. It was like, what time is it? What time is it? But the Thing never says it back. It was like, what about you? You got something to turn on? Something flaming? Should get that checked by a doctor, Johnny. Hopefully he says it next. The Russo brothers are going to do it. The Russo brothers are going to make him say flame on. Matt says F4 adjusting to modern day would be interesting. But that's also my question. So many freaking questions. Are they going to remember? That could ruin. That could be. There's so many ethical questions with that. Do the Fantastic Four, after they're integrated into the MCU and everything is one timeline, do the Fantastic Four remember their old universe? Do they remember their old planet? Do they remember their old ways? Or do their missions and things they went to get altered in a way that fit this new Earth, where it's like, yeah, they fought Ghost, they fought Mole Man, but it's this Earth's version of Mole Man, this Earth's version of Ghost with modernized stories. I'm like, dude, so many questions about this reboot and how it's going to work. I want it to happen. I want it to go down. But if they can remember the life they used to live, and now they have to adjust to this so filled universe with heroes, mutants, modern technology, all that, and a world that's constantly in danger and does not have their stuff together, they jumping off a bridge. They ain't lasting long in that universe. I don't know. It's going to be... I'd honestly rather them kind of mind wipe them, Men in Black style. Mind wipe them in a way where they can remember some of their adventures, but it's in a way where it just fits the modern story. I don't see what I mean. Like, I do not want to be Kevin Feige trying to answer these questions, dude. Joe Richard says, "Did you hear Iron Man death music when Sue died?" I did not. Was it the Black Sabbath song? Was it the That's a crazy song to play when she dies, man. That's cool. Thank you for that, Joe. Preston DeBeats says, "Hey, Chris, I'm hoping we get the same family vibes in the MCU's X-Men." Oh, dude. You know, because they have the director Jake Schreier, who did Thunderbolts, is going on to X-Men. I thought he handled a decent group dynamic within the Thunderbolts. If I'm being honest, I prefer the Fantastic Four group dynamic, but what they had to do there worked for what it was, because these were strangers with big egos, big issues, having to come together to work. Maybe Jake Schreier can pull off something just as good. So, yeah. Reed Jackson says, "You're not going to believe this. I think I prefer this over Superman. The 6th aesthetic, sharp editing, and bold visuals just hit different. This is Marvel's real return to form. High 6 out of 10. I think that's so funny. Curse you, Neb, for things like this. If you guys know who Neb is on Twitter, and his review gave the most glowing positive review for the Fantastic Four and then went 6 out of 10. Oh, Neb, if I ever see you, Neb, what is that? Like 50,000 likes too. I'll never forgive you for what you did to Blue Beetle. High 6 out of 10. No, dude. To me, this is like a 8.5 out of 10. 8.5. But 6 is all right. All right, Reed. You got your opinions. Thunderbolts after credits seems was 14 months later. Fantastic Four took place 4 years after. Any correlation? No idea, because this is a separate Earth, separate times. You also got to think they are in the 60s. When the Fantastic Four went to space, that was supposed to mimic when us in the U.S. went to space for the first time. They were Buzz Aldrin and whoever it was that went up to space. Neil Armstrong, or is it Lance Armstrong? Is that the biker or the swimmer? Public school education. Leave me alone. So that's also another part that doesn't make sense, because it's like they're living in the 60s. All the stuff in the MCU is happening in the 2030s. Is ever you? I accidentally muted. Hopefully. So I don't know. We'll see. Do they do Namor and Sue's storyline in Doomsday? I don't think they do that. There is way too much going on in Doomsday to do that. What they're gonna do is what they did early on with Wanda and Vision. So here we have an interview where Vanessa Kirby or Pedro Pascal talks about it. He says, Pedro Pascal says Vanessa Kirby talks about Namor all the time. Every single chance she gets, nobody brings it up except for her. Vanessa Kirby she has a type, the Latin men. I'm Latin, Vanessa Kirby. I just look in disguise. I think what they'll do is just like a small nod. You remember in Age of Ultron where like Wanda and Vision just kind of give a look to each other when like Vision saves her from like the Sokovia that's about to be like blown up, and that was it. That was like the hint to their relationship in the comics. Similar thing here. I think it's just going to be a thing where he looks at her and goes, "You're quite beautiful, like a snowflake." And that's it. It's just something like that. Just a quick, and maybe Reed goes, "Hey, she's my wife." And maybe like Sue is even like a little flustered, like, "Oh," but that's it. That's the entirety of the nod and the gag and the thing. I don't think they'll build a whole relationship and situation. And they've already established pretty well in this Fantastic Four movie that Sue is a smooth talker. I don't think it's the situation of she's pretty and that's why she's a good politician. I think she is understanding. She is humane. She talks to people like people, and that's something that Mole Man really connected with Sue because that's why Mole Man was willing to work with the Fantastic Four and be part of the Future Foundation Treaty. It's like she treats me like a person and not like some sort of underground freak creature. I think Sue will also have that kind voice that Namor can kind of like, okay, I'll help out the Fantastic Four. Come here, me, huh? You know, little thing they do. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that's what's gonna happen. All right, Global Globler says, "Do you think the point 0.8 speed of light to get back to Earth while in the black hole is a reference to Back to the Future?" That would be cool. I did notice that too. 88 miles per hour time travel. That'd be a nice little reference. Maybe. Have to ask Mr. Matt Shockman. Global Gobbler says, "My mom heard the thing be called Ben and said, is that Ben 10? To be fair, he does kind of look like me, a Ben 10 alien." Yeah, you could see the thing probably be one of Ben's aliens in there. We need that Ben 10 movie, though. Joe Sila says, "I pre-ordered the Galactus popcorn bucket. It had better be worth it. Please tell it was worth it for you, buddy. Galactus is down there. I'll be honest with you. He's cool. I'm glad I have them. It's a nice piece. I'm trying to figure out where to put it in the studio. Herbie Bucket is way more worth it. Herbie Bucket. Look at this. You ever seen the Fantastic Four symbol project onto a man? This right here is some like Christopher Nolan next level cinematography. I am the Four. Bro thinks he's him. I'm gonna go blind after that. The Jurassic Park scene where the digits and codes are on the Raptors. I'm Steven Spielberg of YouTube. Okay. Mimo Escobar says, thoughts on RDJ's Instagram story teasing Iron Man versus Doom. I did see that. We talked about it on the stream just yesterday. I would like it. I mean, why not, right? I would love to see Doctor Doom and RDJ fight. I still think they need to lean with Doom and Reed. It's just such a shame they haven't built that up, or we haven't gotten to that point. It's like, it feels so rushed in how we're doing this. But yeah, Iron Man versus Doom, that needs to happen, especially with the RDJ face. DeMarcus Cousins says, "In my theater, someone said out loud, 'Kang,' when Doom showed up." You know, I don't blame them. Does Kang have a green robe, though? I thought his robe was kind of purplish, but he does have the green clothes. Yeah, I'm going to feel bad for the people not in the know of all the, like, Marvel happenings and behind-the-scenes stuff. They're going to go and be like, "So what happened to that Kang fella? Where he at?" Michael Thompson says, "Because it's the F4 live stream, can you get down on all fours for us, Chris?" No, Michael, I will not. The Archive says, "Yeah, I do wish it was a bit longer too. Maybe future F4 sequels will be. I also do wish the Doom reveal had a little bit more to it." Yeah, I would have liked to maybe even hear the voice. Can we get a look at the boot, the suit, a hand? We barely just got the mask, and even then the mask looks so simple. At least the mask is not. A lot of people were thinking the mask was going to look like the first Iron Man suit from when he's in the cave. That would have been a disappointment. That would have been a disappointment. But yeah, wish we could have got some. But I think it's clearly Franklin fixing the scars of this guy's face. Diego Gonzalez says, "Wanda is alive. IDK, I don't know what about you people think she's dead. I don't know. I think Wanda is for sure coming back in some capacity. Whether she's alive or dead, we'll see. But I think Wanda is coming back and she'll play some sort of role." Preston Debate says, "I know everyone was predicting the Fantastic Four Earth was cooked based on the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. What are your thoughts on their Earth surviving?" I guess it ended up making sense. I was shocked. And I guess because the more I thought about it, like I said, whenever the Fantastic, it'd be so weird if they're like, "Well, we failed. Herbie, find us an accessible planet. Let's go there." I don't know. When you think it through, it would have seemed really stupid if that's what ended up happening. It's like we blew up our planet. Can we crash here for a bit while we look on Zillow Galaxy for a new planet? So it ended up working for the best. I was more shocked just 4 more years have passed since the ending of the Fantastic Four. I was like, dang, man, they've been doing this a long time. Johnny ain't gonna be no kid. Johnny a full man now. Oddsway says, personally speaking, I thought Ben's romance subplot got no screen time. It was the weakest part of the movie. So having that matchmake scene would have made it better since it sets it up. But what does it set up? That he just is interested in somebody? I feel like that's already set up through him having lingering gazes to that one woman. There would have been, if anything, it would have made that subplot even worse because then there's buildup. There's set up for it, but there's no conclusion for that relationship that the Thing wants. There's no finality. We never know if he goes on a date with her. We never know if she likes him back the way he likes her back. It's left such an open book. I think just sprinkles of the Thing throwing in there worked. I don't think adding the matchmaking would have added much, but that's just me saying. But I do agree on the Thing subplot being the weakest part of the movie. Yeah, unfortunately, yes. But that only allows him to be a bigger focus in the next movie. And with everyone else already being so well built and so well constructed, an entire movie dedicated to the Thing's struggles and dealings with humanity, I'd be down for that. Hi 3C, me and my GF and our cat October love the videos. Oh, appreciate you. It was also nice that it was Halloween in the Fantastic Four universe. That was cool. Thomas Lang says, how quick are the Avengers recasts post Secret Wars? I don't think that quick. I do not think that quick. I think we go 2 or 3 movies in. I think a lot of the people that I think are not getting recast, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, not getting recast. We're going to get his Doctor Strange 3 movie post Secret Wars. Shang-Chi, not getting recast. And we'll get Shang-Chi 2 post Secret Wars. So obviously the X-Men movie, Fantastic Four 2. I'm trying to think of other characters. Thor 5, Chris Hemsworth most likely won't be recast. Those movies right there that I basically guarantee are most likely happening, that's already 3-4 years into the world post Secret Wars. I don't think you need to recast Captain America, Iron Man till at least 5 years after Secret Wars, 6, 7. So I don't think you do that. And Tom Holland is not getting recast. Tom Holland ain't getting recast either. But they just started a new trilogy with him. Ain't no way they're gonna recast him after all that. So yeah. You're crazy. 3C approval. Maybe see it in cinema. Love your show. Love you. Have no shame. I loved it, man. I don't know. I saw some of the people, and I don't know how you don't. Stuart, please, tell me why you think it doesn't deserve that. Because to me, I walked out loving the movie. I thought it was really great. And I don't know if it ends up in my top 10 Marvel movies, but as far as first entry induction into some superheroes, one of the Marvel's best. Captain America First Avenger is my favorite by far. And then obviously the first Iron Man. You have that there. I'm trying to think of who else they've done that they really integrate. I like the Incredible Hulk, but I actually do understand why some people don't consider that one a top one. I don't know. It was great. It was great. It was great. Brian Broadway on tour says, what if it was Doom that the Fantastic Four in their 8 years already knew? It would explain why he wasn't showing up in the court, and once Franklin touches him, transports him into the MCU. Thank you, you're fantastic. Oh, appreciate that. Maybe. I still think the face touch is just to fix his scars. Jack Collect says, top 5 death predictions for Doomsday. Oh yeah, we just talked about it. Basically, any Fox X-Men character, dead. For sure, Patrick Stewart, Magneto, dead. I'm going with Paul Rudd could. I said, who was some other faces I was talking about? Those are the ones I got in my mind. But yeah, those are kind of, it's already so many. Joy Richards says, I mean, Tony Stark died in the sad music from it. No, I knew what you meant, buddy. I was doing what they call a little gag, a little joke. Jack is black. The king is black. Don't man knows I'm glad to be back. But no, I didn't hear the music, buddy, so I diverted into what I knew. Carl Nowaka says, do you think Marvel should just stop with this whole building up to the next Thanos-like threat after Doom? Thanos will probably never be topped. Yes and no, because I still think there needs to be some sort of buildup. It's what made the threat of Thanos and Infinity War and Endgame so satisfying, because it actually lived up to that buildup. Here, it's like, we'll see if the buildup is lived up to. I think it's going to be more the satisfying factor of these characters interacting with one another, because I'm not so much excited to like see what Doom does than I am to see Shang-Chi interact with other people, Sam Wilson meet the Fantastic Four meet members of the Thunderbolts. How are they going to fight Doom? So it's like they more have just set up interesting characters I want to see interact with, but I don't know how to feel so much about the story, you know? Donovan says, do you think Tom Holland will meet with Johnny? See, and that's what I'm wondering. They have the perfect setup for like Spider-Man 6 or Spider-Man, how do I say it? 7, because those are the next ones, because we're on Spider-Man 4, sorry. So Spider-Man 5 and 6. We know 4 is going to have Frank Castle and most likely the Hulk, although that hasn't been confirmed. Whenever those two come out, my top choices now, Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm, and one of them is a Deadpool. That's going to be either or. He's going to team up with the Fantastic Four, because the first issue of Spider-Man's first comic run, not Amazing Fantasy 15, but when Spider-Man finally got his own comic run, his first issue was hanging out with the Fantastic Four. There was precedent there, and he has a friendship with Johnny in the comics. It would be kind of cool. Maybe we can't get all the Fantastic Four, but it'd be awesome if we could at least get Johnny in there to do something, right? And then I think they're going to do Deadpool in one of the movies. That's the only thing. Stranger Danger says MCU will never reach Endgame hype again. We'll see. If Doomsday is good, if Doomsday is like good, and I mean like, how good does it need to be? It needs to be like at least Thunderbolts good. To me, that's the threshold, because I thought Thunderbolts was good, and to me, Fantastic Four was excellent. If Doomsday is just good, it will reach that Endgame level hype for Secret Wars, because that is going to be an all-out crazy movie. We'll then see if that ends up being good or not, though. But I think it can if Doomsday delivers. If Doomsday delivers, I think we will reach that hype level again. Jonathan Garcia says, do you think Doomsday takes both Franklin and Sue, and the other three go after them, and that's how they go to the MCU, and that's the leaked art? Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I could see that. I just want to know how Doom knows to go to that planet and why there. I don't want our audience knowledge to be the easy escape. I want to know why Doom needs this specific planet out of all the multiversal planets for this. And right now we don't know of a multiverse threat. We thought it was Kang coming to destroy everything. Right now everything seems fine. So what is the problem that Doom is trying to solve? Electric Ritual says, thoughts on Daniel RPK news on X today, where he just said about Ghost Rider. Yeah, I think Ghost Rider's coming in the universe, but there's no announcement to when it'll be coming. Emperor Doom says, Thunderbolts 10 out of 10, Fantastic Four 8 out of 10. What about you, 3C? I wouldn't say 10 out of 10 for Fantastic Four, but I'd flip those. Thunderbolts to me was a 7 out of 10, and Fantastic Four was 8.5 out of 10, in my opinion. I like Thunderbolts, I really do, but I just think there is issues that plague the main Marvel universe in there, and that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Like there's no memorable score in Thunderbolts. It is a decent looking movie. It does look nice. It's a mishmash though of having to like regurgitate lines of each character because they rely on Disney Plus knowledge. The setup and rushed ending battle because we have to get to Doomsday is one of them there. It's a movie where the character and the theme of it is great. Fantastic Four did all that great. Characters, story, score, production, visuals, all of it was firing. Infinite Ross 927 says, dog, just saying, come back from watching Kang Dynasty 10 out of 10. Oh, Kang Dynasty 10 out of 10. I do wonder what that movie was going to look like, man. I wonder if it at all was going to leave us hyped for Secret Wars. Draftman Music says, which Fantastic Four cast is your favorite all time? Honestly, this one. It's the best one so far. I didn't think I'd say that honestly before watching the movie. I thought I'd still be like the early 2000s cast. You can't beat that. But no, they nailed the dynamics and the characterizations of each character. Honestly, it is this one that is the best Fantastic Four cast. RJ Phenomenon says, correct me if I'm wrong, but can Franklin Richards just cure Galactus of his hunger? Yes. I did see some people say that, and some people even theorize Galactus should just come back like when Franklin is 15 and he could probably fix him. Supposedly, that's something he could do, but I'm sure Galactus was impatient, was like, nah, how about I just solve my problem now? What if I just fix it now? Let's have you do that. Let's have a guy who's about to rob you, point gun blank in your face, about to take your money, and you tell him, wait. I can give you 500 in 10 years. Nah, homie, you got that 500 right now. Give me that 500. Three C class is over. You just got Cage says your suit's fantastic. Oh, thank you. Say that again. Profgrass says, will you be seeing Bambi? It's off topic, but all that. I have to make time for it, but I think I will. Brian Broadway on tour says, I'm glad this Reed didn't get turned into spaghetti. Oh yeah, dude. I was tired of seeing Reed just be done dirty and turned to spaghetti. John Krasinski, poor old man out there. I wonder if that Earth is even going to come into play. We have a ton of different Earths right now. We have that multiverse Earth with the Illuminati. We have the X-Men universe over there. We have our Earth. If you want to mention the Sony Earth with what they got going on. My old Mr. Otis Fu says, saw it opening night fam event at El Capitan, seeing it with a huge crowd, costume props and photo ops spots was cool. Also, free comic, played a game. Woo! That's a fun way to see the movie, man. That's a fun way. Gail OR says, 3C, you work too hard. I'm worried you forgot about me. Oh, geez, I'm right here, man. I didn't see anything. I'm scrolling. I don't see you. I don't see it, homie. I don't see it, homie. Yeah, I'll look back. If there is something, man, I'll look for it. I'll never forget you, though, Gayali. Gayali, you're the best. Sorry, buddy. All right. Let's see here. Where was I? Lost my place. When is Miles? What is all that? Fantastic swear. I'm glad I turned. Okay. Movie Talk Studio says, it might be me, but I am the only one that doesn't like Doom Mask in the credits. I gotta agree with you. I've seen the movie twice now, and both times I try to like stare at that mask as hard as I can to get a good look of it. It does seem a little simplified. It seems a little, it looks like honestly like a cosplay mask. It's a little too round for me. It doesn't give off that menacing vibe. I know this isn't the best look at it. Maybe this is kind of a better slightly look at it. Yeah, it doesn't, I agree with you. I didn't love the mask. It didn't scream Doom to me. But I do wonder if it's an amalgamation. Like I would like this type of mask and structure in live action, and it's not that. It's a little bit more round, and it does resemble a little bit more Iron. I don't even wonder if this is what it's gonna look like. That's what they used at Comic-Con, but I doubt it. Does not look the same. But I get you. I get you. We'll see. Felt a bit shiny and clean. Yeah, I get you. It did feel a bit shiny and clean. I'm not disagreeing with you. Do you think Moon Knight will be in Doomsday? Heck no. Heck no. Moon Knight's going to be in his apartment talking to himself. That's Moon Knight. Guys, come on. Doom's fighting. Reed. Shang-Chi. Spider-Man. Moon Knight. Hassan, when is Miles Morales going to be introduced? Well, based on that article that we heard earlier where Kevin Feige's like, hey, we've been told not to touch Miles. Variety then added on that part that maybe after the Spider-Verse trilogy, it could happen. That's what I'm thinking. But maybe that's like the last option the Sony has of another character they just don't want to give. Which I don't know why they wouldn't, though. Why? Think about how much money, Sony, you are earning from Spider-Man being in Avengers. Every single one of your Spider-Man movies, billion films. No Way Home, $2 billion. So why do you think Miles Morales in your own hands as just outside of the universe, based on what you've done with Morbius and Kraven in live action? Obviously, in animated form, you've done a great job, but even those movies don't come to the amount of financial success the live action movies have made. I don't see why they wouldn't let Feige let Miles show up in like an Avenger film, a team up film, and then, hey, you can say we're in the MCU and you can make your Miles movies in the MCU. Mario, need Human Torch and Spidey team up in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I feel like something like that's got to happen. They got to have a little joking moment together. It'd be fun. Mr. Otis Fool says, everyone around me absolutely loved it, but I just liked it. It felt so out of place. Second viewing ended up liking it more. I really don't get... I've seen enough people like you, my Otis Fool, so you're not the only one, and I'm not calling you weird out there, but I do. The people who come out saying, like, it was mid or it was underwhelming, I'm like, how? I don't get, like... to me, it was great. Just me, though. I don't get why some people didn't like the third act. While it isn't as good as the second, I personally really enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't know if they just wanted like a really long fight or something else. To me, I felt like there was enough use in there where like the Fantastic Four could kind of bug Galactus. But if that fight was so long, after a certain point, you're just like, Galactus has the power to just like get these guys done. Elgin Strange says, pre-MCU Avengers scene in Secret Wars. I wouldn't mind. But would they do the whole time travel thing again? I think they are going to have to include time travel, but I don't know if in the way they used it in Endgame, where they even went back to the Battle of New York. Could be a thing. W480 says, a old guy in the teaser for Fantastic Four that's never there. Yeah, the Red Ghost, John Malkovich. I would like to know what his plan was going to be, but I think it was going to be similar maybe to Mole Man's, where it was just to show you in desperate times, even your most hated enemies come together and they work together. So they needed Mole Man for something. Maybe they needed Red Ghost for something. They could have been any issue. Maybe it was the power issue. You know, Reed was having issues with the power, trying to figure out how to power the teleporter machines. Maybe that issue could have been solved with Red Ghost, and they needed to go talk to him, and there was a scene involving them. He's like, hey, we used to be enemies, this and that, but we kind of have to be friends on this one for that. I think that's all it was, and they're like, we already kind of established that with Mole Man. No need to do it twice with Red Ghost. But it could have been something else. Maybe he was against that and was fine with the world being destroyed. He's like, I'm at the end of my ropes. I'm about to die, so why not have the whole world die with me? His inclusion, though, definitely adds like 15, 20 minutes to the movie. There's something there. You don't just have him there 3 minutes in the movie where he's easily removable. He was definitely something. But we will never know. We will never know. Brian Broadway on tour says, I found out that Peter and Johnny have fought in the comics. Yeah, of course. They've had a lot of interactions. Alkila says, felt Galactus stretching Reed out shouldn't hurt. It should hurt, because even in the comics, this is my complaint with that scene, though. Even in the comics, let's see if I can find it. Galactus stretch. Let's see if I can get that scene. Yep, here we go. This scene you're talking about here. Okay. Even in the comics, Reed can only stretch so far. The usual rule of thumb is the length of 4 football fields. That's how long he can stretch. But there's been plenty of instances in the comics where he even goes a little further than that, or he extends himself more. There is a point. Reed can only stretch so far. I think this is really small. I think Reed can stretch way more than that. I think while Galactus had his hands here, I think it needed to be more like that, man. It needed to be more. Let me give you my visual here. Oh shoot. It needed to be more like that. It needed to be. I understand also Galactus is a giant size, and so although in our eyes this looks small, that's probably the length of like 2 buildings, maybe. That was my only issue with it. I'm like, I feel like Reed can stretch more than that, and he should be more, but still a great scene, a great scene. And you feel Reed's pain. He's like, no. CGI wasn't great on Reed's face there, but yeah, I think it would definitely hurt him. My old ass foo says, baby stuff was my favorite car seat part since my sister gave a nephew who's to be one felt emotional beats towards all of that. Gonna take my brother-in-law and sister and nephew. Oh, that's great. I will say the car seat scene at the end of the movie I was like, dang, y'all were this close. Y'all were this close. And you did the most MCU cringe joke. I don't know. That's how I felt. I'm glad you liked it. But I was like, that gag went a little too long. It got a little too silly. And I'm like, this feels like that cringe MCU humor. I didn't love the car seat scene. I was just kind of like, okay, let's wrap it up and keep things going. It feels like this is what the movie, this type of gag could have been the entire movie, but thankfully they didn't keep it that serious. It is cute. Like, I know some people say, I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. Okay, so I'm the grumpy man. Yeah, see, okay, the chat's saying that they loved it. They said, we have here, I thought it was cute. I thought it was a funny scene. No, I smiled. So I'm the grumpy guy, okay? I don't know. That was the only part I was like, he's right behind me, isn't he? Emperor Doom says, what do you mean no memorable score in Thunderbolts? Was it? I can't even right now. What's the score of Thunderbolts? What's the score of Thunderbolts? Let me look it up. I can't think of it right now. Thunderbolts. I'm not gonna forget the Fantastic Four score. Right now, it's my favorite score that they have done since like probably the Black Panther movie. I don't know. Is that one it, or is there a different one? Sun Lux. This is the iconic score. I mean, it's fine. It's not bad. I don't think it's memorable. I don't know if you pointed a gun at me and said hum the Thunderbolt score. Da 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 da. That's Superman. At least I'm going out thinking of my hero. There you go. Sorry, that's just me. That's just me. The Bucky score was great. Okay, the Bucky one was. That individual one, yes. As far as the whole movie. It was a good year for scores, though. Lex Luthor's score, I also really liked. Also was, I mean, Superman's score as well. This one was good, but like just speaking in the MCU, I liked it. I dug it. Procrastinator says, you gonna tell me that piano motif at New York is saved in Thunderbolts isn't beautiful? It's one of my favorite scores in the MCU. It's called Not Alone. Okay, let me see here. Not Alone. I'm not saying they didn't have good scores. I'm just saying in the conversation of scores and where you can immediately hear the sound and relate it to that person. Like even the Wonder Woman score that I know sounds a lot like the Spy Kids score, the Man of Steel, Hans Zimmer's score. Like when a score that is undeniably so well associated and captures the magic of the movie, Fantastic Four did that. Not to say Thunderbolts didn't have any good scores. It just... I'm just a grump. I've never had friends who hug me the way they did Sentry at the end of the movie. That's my problem. No, it is a good score. It is good. I just think, come on, there's a different level to it. There's a different level to it. That's all I'm saying. Brian Broadway on tour says, you're inspiring me to dress up and go see it in theaters when it came out, which is my profile. Hey, nice. Good suit. Looking fly. Mr. Otis Fool says, part of me was sad when they did save their world because in Doomsday was expecting them to feel the need of having to save 616 Earth out of a very deep guilt. Yeah, that could have worked if they did end up losing and then they needed to save the other planet because it's like, well, we failed our mission. Really want to nail and make sure you guys save your home because we know what it's like to lose it. That guilt could have been really good. You're right. Blue 100 says predictions for the opening scene of Doomsday. I think it's got to be Doctor Doom focused. I think the movie has to open on Doom, like in Latveria, Earth 828. Honestly, going us through the 4-year gap. That's what the opening of Doomsday should be. Is Doctor Doom going through the 4-year gap? Maybe his perspective, almost the way we got the perspective of Ben Affleck's Batman in Batman vs Superman. of, D-Day and all that stuff. I want Doom's perspective of him finding about Galactus, watching the press conference of the Fantastic Four saying, we ain't giving up our baby and all that stuff. That's what I think it should be. He's kind of just running us. The first 5 minutes should be like just running us through his perspective, his mindset, and everything. Was it not called D-Day in BVS? I thought it was called something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I think that'd be the best way to do it. Adventure with Parker and Dad said, could you rank the Fantastic Four members? Ooh, in just this movie, honestly, is like Reed, Invisible Woman, Johnny, The Thing. Based on the story, the characterizations, what they got to do in the movie. That's all right. But I'm biased because Reed is my favorite Fantastic Four character. So he's kind of always going to be on the top of my list. Retro Lover 03 says, top F4, what if Beyond the Spider-Verse ended with Fantastic Four, the Maker appearing in Miles? See, I get why as fans and us nerds, we would love that. I have heard the theories that people want Miles Teller to be the Beyonder. This like more evil version of is it called the Beyonder? No, what's he called? The Maker. Sorry, the Maker. The Maker, which is like a version of Reed. He's almost like Superior Iron Man, but for Reed Richards. What did I even type? Miles Teller, the Maker. There's got to be someone who's edited a photo of it already. Oh, it was pretty close. Pretty close. Someone's gone on there. I get why we would want that, but that movie made pennies. Nobody likes or even associates that movie. If their universe's Fantastic Four members somehow get referenced or talked about in Secret Wars or Doomsday, it'll be the same way Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were mentioned in Across the Spider-Verse. Through a little hologram bubble off in the corner, not an important focus, but just a character saying, in the multiverse, there are tons of stories of each character, even you, the Fantastic Four. There you go. 3 seconds of little fan four stick footage. Done. No way they bring them in. But it would be funny just for the memes, because who wouldn't want to see Miles Teller just go, say that again? We have here Stuart Elward says, I just didn't like the third act, how they did Galactus. How did Galactus not see the portals? The Silver Surfer just disappeared, then reappeared without understanding she did. I don't get why that bothers people. That perfectly makes sense why Silver Surfer disappeared. She just got hit with the guilt that she did. She became the monster she was trying to protect her people from. She was finally hit with the dozens upon dozens of planets that had to suffer and die because of her, and of her specifically choosing those planets. It was such a traumatizing, earth-shattering revelation for her. She had to go away and collect her thoughts, think to herself, what do I want to do? And because Silver Surfer is away and gone, well, then Galactus does not have his helper, and it's a reason for him to go down to Earth and do the mission himself, because he's like, hey, my silver maid isn't here. I guess I got to do this myself. If the Silver Surfer was in the final battle, Galactus would not have a reason to jump off his ship and go to Earth, because it's like, you can go grab the baby. Silver Surfer has now failed every time to get Franklin, whether it was in space, whether it was during the black hole, and whether it was that time to grab him. Galactus was like, all right, I'm done. You want something done, you got to do it himself. It's my defense for that. It's my defense for that. As far as not seeing the portal, well, yeah, he does see the portal, but he's nothing he can do about it. He's trapped in Invisible Woman's little thing, and he's trying to stop himself from going there by holding on to buildings, getting a grip, but things knocking them down. Sue's using her motherly abilities to keep him there and push him there, and even then, he is still able to, like, he has the power to get out of a wormhole going through space. I don't know, man. All the complaints people say about the movie, I feel like they're easily explained. But I understand. Everybody's got a different thought. And I have to deal with it. That's my thinking, though. Nick naturally says, how and why would the Fantastic Four go to Earth 616? I want to know that too, buddy. The only reason I could explain it is that if that's where Doom ends up, if that's where he takes Franklin, then, okay, well, the Fantastic Four are going to go anywhere that Franklin is taken to. And if that's the planet Franklin is taken to, Fantastic Four will show up there. But I need to know why Doom chose that planet. Maybe, honestly, maybe that will be the answer. I was just talking about how some scoopers were saying that because 616 doesn't have doesn't have Fantastic Four or X-Men, that's why Doom chooses that planet to be his starting ground for Battle World and all that, because those are the actual threats. Everything else he could probably handle. But seeing that there's a planet with no Fantastic Four nor X-Men, he's like, easy W. Easy win. I don't know. We see. All right, Mario says, liked your explanation for Sue holding back Galactus while watching the movie. I thought the same thing. Mothers are built different. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, I think so. And I think they even did it good because it's like, that doesn't defeat him. It doesn't kill him. She literally, all she did is push him. That's all just pushing Galactus killed Invisible Woman. Not hurting him, not scarring him, bruising him, making him bleed. Literally just pushing him killed her. That still speaks to the strength of Galactus and the strength of Invisible Woman. But that's my thought. Bray says, will we see the Marvel fanfare ever again? That's another great point. We haven't even talked about that. I haven't brought that up before, but what he's talking about is the Marvel intro. Last time we saw it was basically Deadpool and Wolverine, and even then it was a joking version of it because it's Deadpool going ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba, or whatever the theme song goes. And so since then, with Brave New World, Captain America, it was just like these white logo intros. In Thunderbolts, it was also something different. And now here in Fantastic Four, the logo comes in and out like so quickly you don't even have time to register it. I would like the logo to come back for Avengers. Even if it's an updated one, and maybe they just have footage of all the newer recent characters that have been added in, not so much like the old characters, but it's such a good fanfare. Why wouldn't they have it, man? They need to bring it back. So we'll see. Mr. Old Fool says, I don't think it's mid, but I just wanted to like it way more. I think I just wanted a longer movie with more moments, but I could see why people loved it. Now I get you. Hey, that's what Fantastic Four 2 is going to prove, because we better get that movie, man. Old Fool says, gonna do the Super Fantastic double feature soon. Ooh, back-to-back peak. Della says, would you risk third-degree burns with Johnny too? Johnny was cooking. Johnny was cooking. I'm more of a Chris Evans guy, if we're just talking looks, though. Unjust Cage says, Namor will be simping hard for Sue. Oh, I tell you, he's going to be some single. Like, you're beautiful. We ain't got him like you where I'm from. Maldes Fool says, you'll understand the car seat struggle soon. Oh, I think one day I will definitely be understanding that. No, I got the joke, and I did find it funny. I think the joke went too long. I was like, the joke itself would have been funny if it was 10 seconds shorter for me. Just my opinion, but I guess how stubborn fool I am. Payne Rourke says, not gonna lie, the movie would have been more suspenseful if Doomsday chair roll didn't happen. When Sue died, I was like, she ain't dead, or the stretch part. Yeah, I do agree with you there. I guess but even then you knew they wouldn't kill her off. It's the first Fantastic Four movie. Of course they're gonna bring her back. But at least the way they brought her back made more sense to me than the way Rise of Silver Surfer did, with the Silver Surfer just happening to have resurrection powers. Like, Franklin is actually believable, and there's comic precedent for that, you know? Kobe here says, did you see the clip of the Fantastic Forecast reacting to Marvel Rivals skins? Pedro couldn't believe the Sue Storm. Yeah, I did see that. It's hilarious. A lot of the cast interactions have been hilarious. Meldes says, was most excited for Eben as Ben because of the bear. He's great. So I had so much faith in him, and he was good. And I don't blame you. If Eben Moss was the thing you were most excited for, yeah, then he was done dirty. At least he has that kind of chef kind of persona attached to him. He wants to cook. He's like, just let me add a little bit of zip and all that. He's always buying cookies and going out to get ingredients. And I did think maybe it was just me. That scene with the lasagna, I don't know if that was salt. Maybe if it was Parmesan, I'll forgive it. He was putting way too much salt, man. The amount of times he was shaking that thing, I was like, all right, thing. All right. That's enough slices. Maybe you can handle sodium and cholesterol in your diet thing, but we have other members of the family too, Was it just me? Was it just me? I was the only one. So was it, what time is it, 3C? Let me go into the regular chat for a little bit. So let me see here. We have here, Angel says, honestly, love the movie, but waiting for Earth to be destroyed, would have loved if instead they teleported Galactus and Earth and the four stay put on their ship. Ah. And ooh, you know what? That would have been an interesting ending. Like they do manage to teleport their Earth, but they're not on the Earth when it teleports. So even the Fantastic Four don't know where they sent the Earth. And and just like Galactus not being able to find the planet because it's on the edge of the outer skirts, millions of miles away, the Fantastic Four will be spending their entire lives looking for their planet again. That was the stupidest thing I could have ever said. Let's move on to regular chat. Was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I saw Johnny going sacrifice himself. Yeah, I loved every time Johnny was like, then take me. I'll do it. I'll save that. I loved also the scene where Sue was like, Johnny, kill her. What? She's trying to take your nephew. And like, it didn't even bug us. You know, a lot of comic fans are getting so nitpicky and angry whenever superheroes want to kill other people. That was a great reason. Dude, you're trying to take my baby? Johnny Killer. Johnny Killer. Let's see here. We have someone say, Dodger said, would like to see the opening of Doomsday just be Doom destroying another Earth and causing an incursion. They can recreate the moment from the comics where Doom kills Thanos with his skeleton. I still think we do have to have a scene like that. I do not want it to be Thanos though. You know, because I think I've already done that so much. Even in What If, Ultron has killed Thanos and the Illuminati killed Thanos. Like, killing Thanos does not even seem like that high of a threat anymore with how many times the Marvel has done it. There needs, to me, it's like Doom killing Sentry would be the thing to like be like, oh shit, this guy's for real. This guy just killed Sentry, you know? But we'll see. Let's see. 616 is the place with the most incursions. Doom will view himself as a hero trying to save the multiverse, and then he's going to build Battle World when the multiverse dies and gives himself a throne. I can see that. I can see that. That seems plausible. Chris, I need you to read John Hickman's Fantastic Four run. It will change your life. That's the one I hear the most about, and I'm full transparency. Out of the comic people I've read, I've never picked up a Fantastic Four comic because, to be frank with you, as much as I like the 2000 movie, the video games, I never had an interest to watch. I even watched the cartoon. You guys remember that cartoon series they had? What was it? The Fantastic Four cartoon series? The Fantastic Four. What year did that cartoon? It was that cartoon was actually kind of fun. Not that one. It was this one. I actually kind of like that one. I've never picked up a Fantastic Four comic though. So, but this movie made me want to. It made me want to. And I hear the John Hickman run is the best one, so. We have here, Congo said, honestly, think the beginning of Doomsday will be the Fantastic Four post-credit scene. Oh, like just jumping off from that point? I wouldn't be so bad. Like, I still think they should do the Doom perspective, what he's been doing the past 4 years, his thought process. Maybe he was thinking of his own idea. Maybe he was going to, like, defeat Galactus without the Fantastic Four and everything knowing, but since Fantastic Four did it, they didn't need him. And then that scene can transition into Doom being in the living room. Because, yeah, I think that would be an interesting start. Or that would have to be, like, the start of the movie. Let me see here where I was. What was I say here? Ashton Anthony says, what's up, 3C? I didn't really like Pedro's chemistry with Vanessa. Just felt off on his end. Really? Not to me, but I mean, I can understand why you think that because it's not a traditional love, but Reed is always going to be awkward in showing emotions. That's kind of who Reed is because he smarts first, intellect first, and he has a hard time with that stuff. But I thought there was some still sweet and kind moments. And that moment, even when like his awkwardness, when Sue's like, oh, I love my new suit. And he's like, well, it's actually just your old suit, just bigger. And he doesn't realize he just called his wife fat. And he's like, oh, no, it's just bluer. I thought that was sweet, but I get it. Maybe it wasn't for everybody. Call Music sends in some love. Thank you so much. see, Lego world blueprint for the MC. Oh yeah, I saw that. There's been like apparently every version of Galactus in video games, especially in like the Lego game, they defeat him by throwing him through a wormhole. That's how you gotta defeat Galactus, man. He's too powerful. Vino Albino says Galactus is goated. Remember, he was in Dexter's Labs short. Also, Timmy was what's Oh, they did do stuff like that. You are right, dude. That Dexter's Lab just took me back. Retro Lover says, "What if Doom kills Mephisto in Doomsday? Would that mean anything to us? Take your comic geeky brain out of it right now and think about the way Mephisto and Doomsday have been set up. Is that anything to us? Mephisto is a random character that appears at the end of Ironheart. Doom is barely set up in a post-credit scene. Do you think watching Doom kill Mephisto would mean anything to us right now? It wouldn't to me. I'd just be like, cool." K-Dog says, "Can you shout out Vanessa Quintanilla?" Vanessa Quintanilla, shout it out. Creatively Anxious says, "I think Doom will give Loki the Thanos treatment." Ooh, that would be rough. That would be rough seeing Doom appear and then just kill Loki like that. Oh, and that would also be why Thor would probably be the second lead. He wants that revenge from Doom. He would want it. All right, guys. That was the final super chat. Oh, no, there is one more in here. And then we're going to knock it out. We got Latveria leader missing at World Meeting. Thoughts? Yeah, that's Dr. Doom. That's Dr. Doom missing. He does not like the Fantastic Four. He always butts heads with Reed Richards' rivalry. I totally bet you he sees the way Lex Luthor looks at Superman, where he's like, these geeks with a miscalculation that gave them powers, and all of a sudden they're heroes and loved by everybody. Dr. Doom hates that. Dr. Doom, no, I'm not going to be famous for my miscalculations. I'm going to be famous for my actual calculations and my real contributions to the world. And they also didn't want to give up the baby for the world. Doom doesn't respect her like the Fantastic Four. And then we have the MC Beauty Beast say, "IDK, man, Pedro did read well to me." I agree. Thank you. That's a great way to end it with Pedro. Love in the chat. I think hopefully the Russo brothers do good stuff with Pedro Pascal's read in Doomsday and Secret Wars. But anyways, guys, I do want to thank you so much for being here on this live stream and talking some spoilers with us. A lot of good theories, a lot of good stuff. If you want to hear more of my theories and thoughts, the spoiler video is up. If you want to hear my thoughts on the old 2000 Fantastic Four movies, that is also up. And you just want to see me painted silver and chromey, that is up on the channel. Love your guys' faces. More content to come in the weekend. Can't wait till we get some more Avengers Doomsday updates. Till then, I'll stretch you later.